I didn't have a cell phone until I was in my 30s.
Rhea Perlman's story begins in Brooklyn, New York, where she was born on March 31st, 1948, into a family that carried with it both the struggles and the strength of Jewish immigrants. Her father, Philip, managed a doll parts factory, which was unusual at the time because most immigrants worked on the factory floor, not in management. This gave the family a bit more stability, but life was still far from easy. Her mother, Adele, worked as a bookkeeper to help pay the bills, and Rhea quickly learned that in a working-class home, everyone had to pitch in. She grew up in Bensonhurst during the 1950s, in a neighborhood that was filled with Italian-American families, but was slowly becoming home to more Jewish families like hers. This was only a few years after World War II, and many of the people in her community carried the scars of the Holocaust. It was a place where children grew up quickly, learning to be tough, sharp, and quick with their words. Rhea, as the older of two sisters, took on responsibility early. Her younger sister, Hyde, would later become a television writer and producer. But back then, they were just two girls in Brooklyn trying to make their way. Rhea found comfort and inspiration in Yiddish theater, where her family often took her. The passion and humor in those performances shaped her love for acting. Even as a child, she was quick with comebacks, using wit and sarcasm to protect herself from bullying and anti-Semitism that still existed in the area. This toughness, combined with the natural ability to make people laugh, became part of her identity and laid the foundation for the career she would later build. By the time Rhea Perlman was a teenager, she had already discovered her love for performing. She started acting in school plays and showed an unusual gift for timing and comedy that set her apart from other students. Teachers began to notice her talent, and it gave her the confidence to keep going. After finishing high school, she enrolled at Hunter College in Manhattan, where she studied drama. The 1960s in New York were a time of big cultural change, with protests, civil rights movements, and anti-war demonstrations shaping the world around her. In the middle of all that energy, Rhea was learning to act in a way that wasn't just about memorizing lines, but about capturing real human experiences. She graduated in 1968 with a degree in drama, ready to chase her dream. Her early professional work came through New York's off-Broadway theater scene, which was small, gritty, and experimental. In 1970, she performed in a production called Dracula Sabbath, and by 1972, she was part of a feminist play called Up and Uppity Review. These productions were not glamorous, but they were powerful, focusing on women's voices and struggles. It was during this time that she met Danny DeVito, who was also performing in theater. They connected both professionally and personally, forming a bond that would last for decades. She also appeared in a student film called Hot Dogs for Gaijin, directed by Martin Brest, who would later go on to have a successful Hollywood career. While the role was small, it gave Rhea her first experience in front of a camera, and it kept her close to DeVito, with whom she shared the screen. These years were filled with small roles, rejections, and persistence. But they were also the years that prepared her for the break of a lifetime. The real turning point in Rhea's career came in 1982 when she landed the role of Carla Tortelli on the sitcom Cheers. Before that, she had been appearing in small parts on television and stage. But Cheers gave her the chance to create one of the most iconic characters in television history. Carla was a tough, sharp-tongued waitress with endless energy and wit, and audiences instantly connected with her. What made it even more unique was that Rhea was pregnant at the time, and instead of hiding it, the producers wrote it into the show. That decision made her character even more real and relatable. The early seasons of Cheers struggled with ratings, but the chemistry of the cast and Rhea's standout performance helped the show grow into one of the most celebrated sitcoms ever made. Over the years, she won 4 Emmy Awards for her role, and was nominated 10 times, more than any other actor on the show. Her physical comedy, quick insults, and constant energy made Carla unforgettable. Behind the scenes, her real-life family became part of the Cheers world too. Her father, Philip, appeared in the background of many episodes, and fans loved him, so much that the writers gave him lines. Her sister Hyde also worked in television, making it a true family affair. But success did not come without challenges. Not all cast members always got along, and tensions sometimes surfaced, especially during the early years. Still, Rhea remained a steady and loyal presence on the show, staying from the very first episode in 1982 to the very last in 1993. By the end of its run, Cheers had become a cultural phenomenon, winning 20 Emmy Awards and becoming one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. with Rhea Perlman right at the heart of it. While Cheers was Rhea Perlman's defining role on television, her career extended far beyond the sitcom. In 1996, she took on one of her most memorable film roles as Mrs. Wormwood in Matilda, a movie directed by her husband Danny DeVito. The transformation she went through for the role was remarkable. Makeup artists gave her a completely different look, with exaggerated eyebrows, stained teeth, and even painted-on facial hair, to make her appear as ridiculous and unpleasant as possible. She embraced the process fully, allowing herself to disappear into the character. The result was a performance that was both hilarious and unforgettable. The cake eating scene, one of the film's most iconic moments, took nearly 2 weeks to film and required so much real cake that the entire crew grew tired of it. The film became a childhood classic for many and cemented Rhea's reputation as a versatile actress who could shine in both television and film. Around the same time, she starred in her own sitcom called Pearl, where she played a hard-working widow who enrolls in college classes. While the show only lasted 1 season, it gave her another chance to showcase her humor and grit. Even after Cheers ended, Rhea continued to work steadily, appearing in television shows, films, and even voice acting. Her distinctive Brooklyn accent and sharp delivery made her voice instantly recognizable. She lent her voice to animated films like Sing in 2016, introducing her to a whole new generation of fans who may not have known her from Cheers, but instantly recognized the warmth and sharpness in her performance behind the success and fame. Rhea Perlman's personal life has always been deeply connected to her relationship with Danny DeVito. The two met in 1971, after Rhea saw him perform in an off-Broadway play. Their connection was instant, and within 2 weeks, she had moved into his apartment. They lived together for more than a decade, before finally getting married in 1982, in a small private ceremony attended by only 20 people. Unlike many Hollywood couples, they avoided the spotlight when it came to their relationship. They raised 3 children together, Lucy, Grace, and Jake, and for many years seemed like one of the most enduring couples in the entertainment industry. However, in 2012, after 30 years of marriage, they separated. Fans were shocked, but a few months later they reconciled, only to separate again in 2017. What made their story unique was that they never divorced. Even after living apart for years, Rhea has said in interviews that they still consider themselves a family and remain close. They share time with their children and granddaughter, Sinclair, who was born in 2024, and they continue to appear together at public events, including the 2024 Emmy Awards. Rhea has openly said she does not enjoy living alone, but has found comfort in her dog, whom she jokingly calls her life partner. She also admits that while dating again is not on her mind, she would only consider someone very special. Their story shows that even in Hollywood, relationships can evolve into something different, less about traditional roles, and more about lifelong bonds built on love, respect, and shared history. As much as Rhea Perlman has achieved in her career, her personal life has carried pain that success cannot erase. Her son Elijah Blue has struggled with addiction for many years. In December 2023, Rhea even went to court to try to gain control of his finances, fearing that he was wasting his money on drugs. The legal fight lasted for 9 months before she finally dropped the case. Sadly, her fears proved to be true. In June 2025, police found Elijah acting strangely at home with drugs present, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. For any parent, watching a child suffer is painful, but for Rhea, who has won awards, earned fame, and built a successful career, this struggle is a reminder that no amount of achievement can protect a mother from heartbreak. She has openly admitted that the guilt and helplessness weigh heavily on her. Even at 77, with decades of wisdom and experience, she is still a mother first, and seeing her child in danger is something she cannot simply fix. This part of her life shows that behind the laughter she has brought to millions, she has endured pain and sorrow that fans rarely see. It is a reminder that celebrities are not immune to life's hardest battles. And even someone as strong and resilient as Rhea Perlman carries wounds that success cannot heal. Despite the challenges in her personal life, Rhea Perlman has never stopped working. She continues to take on roles that surprise and move audiences. In 2023, she appeared in the blockbuster film Barbie, playing Ruth Handler, the real-life creator of the doll. Her quiet, thoughtful scenes gave the movie emotional depth, showing that even after decades in the industry, she still has the ability to surprise audiences. In 2025, she appeared in the series Poker Face and was connected to Lena Dunham's Netflix project Too Much, keeping her name relevant to new generations. Her longevity in Hollywood is rare, especially for women, and it shows her ability to adapt and stay true to herself. Her voice, her presence, and her honesty have made her not just an actress, but a lasting figure in American entertainment. At the same time, she has faced deep personal losses. In May 2025, her longtime Cheers co-star George Wendt, who played Norm Peterson, passed away suddenly from heart failure at the age of 76. Rhea was devastated, describing it as the saddest thing ever. She had just seen him the year before during a reunion, and he seemed fine. His passing reminded her and the world that even icons from beloved shows are not immortal. It was another moment of grief, layered on top of her personal struggles. Looking at Rhea Perlman's life, what stands out is not just her success, but her resilience. She grew up in a working-class immigrant family, faced anti-Semitism as a child, carved out a career in an industry that often overlooks women who don't fit a certain image, and became one of television's most beloved stars. She built a life with Danny DeVito that defied Hollywood norms and raised a family while balancing fame and personal challenges. Her role as Carla Tortelli remains iconic, and her later work in films like Matilda and Barbie proves her talent is timeless. Yet her story is also filled with heartbreak, from her son's struggles with addiction to the loss of close friends. Through it all, she has remained grounded, sharp, and honest. She has shown that strength is not about avoiding pain, but about continuing to move forward in spite of it. At 77, she is still working, still loved by fans, and still living a life shaped by both triumph and tragedy. Her legacy is not just in the characters she played, but in the way she has lived, real, imperfect, and deeply human. One thing often overlooked in Rhea Perlman's story is the way she quietly built friendships and mentored others in the entertainment industry. While Carla on Cheers was tough, sarcastic, and intimidating, the real Rhea was known for being kind, supportive, and deeply loyal. Younger actors, especially women, often spoke about how she gave them advice about navigating the pressures of Hollywood, which could be especially harsh for women who didn't fit the stereotypical mold of glamour. Rhea never presented herself as a flawless star. Instead, she leaned into her uniqueness, her Brooklyn accent, her petite height, and her sharp humor, and turned those traits into her strength. That authenticity gave courage to others who felt out of place. In an industry obsessed with image, she also made a point of treating crew members, writers, and behind-the-scenes staff with respect. During the run of Cheers, she was known for chatting with lighting technicians and makeup artists, remembering birthdays, and making people laugh. Even during stressful taping days, when co-star Shelley Long left the show, causing a big shakeup, Rhea was one of the cast members who helped keep the environment positive and supportive, ensuring that new cast members, like Kirstie Alley, felt welcome. Her friendships extended beyond the set as well. She and Danny DeVito often hosted dinners at their home, where actors, directors, and writers would gather not just to network, but to relax and feel part of a family. For Rhea, community mattered as much as career. Even in later years, she stayed close with her former castmates, joining them for reunions and charity events. This softer, quieter side of Rhea often surprised people who only knew her as the fiery Carla, but it was part of what made her so beloved. She was proof that you could be tough on screen, yet warm and generous in real life, leaving behind not only great performances, but also lasting bonds with those who worked with her. When people look back on Rhea Perlman's life and career, what they see is not just an actress, but a symbol of strength, humor, and authenticity. Hollywood often pushes women to fade into the background once they pass a certain age, but Rhea refused to disappear. She kept acting, kept making people laugh, and kept showing up in roles that mattered, whether it was in comedies, dramas, or even animated films. Her career path was never about chasing fame or reinventing herself to please others. It was about staying true to who she was. That honesty is part of why fans feel so connected to her. They see her not just as Carla or Mrs. Wormwood, but as someone who reflects the ups and downs of real life. Her story shows that success can be extraordinary, but that it doesn't protect you from heartache. She faced the struggles of raising children, dealing with separation, and watching loved ones battle health issues. Just like millions of other people, what sets her apart is how openly she has acknowledged those struggles, never pretending that her life was perfect just because she was famous. At 77, she stands as a reminder that aging is not something to fear, but something to embrace. With humor and grace, younger actresses often mention her as a role model, someone who broke the mold and made it possible to succeed without fitting into a narrow idea of what a woman in Hollywood should look like or act like. Fans continue to celebrate her,